it makes the think. Hopefully it makes the listener think. What was they talking about before
Don't
the
tell them.
record started?
Don't tell them.
Yeah.
Our
Oh,
secret.
I've already pressed record already, but I forgot to say one thing, but so that the listeners can hear about this for the first time. I don't edit anything. I do not cut anything out. So anything you say has to be said with conviction.
Fair enough.
Like that's my only thing because one, I can't be asked to do the video editing, and two, I think as a comedian, if you're going to say something, you've got to stand by it.
Fair enough. Fair
Do
enough.
you agree with that? Like anything you
I
say on
do.
stage?
Yeah, no, I think if I'm going to say something, then that's on me. So
100%.
yeah, no problem at all.
Which I think with this day and age, there's some like at the moment, I'm in the moment of writing a new joke, and I'm not going to bring it to the stage because I can't do it justice. And it is like a trans joke, and it's like playing like who's not low. You know who's who the old game.
Yeah.
And it's like okay, can you put down all the men? No, okay. Can you put down any that identify as men? Okay, and then they all go down. But I can't do the joke justice.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It sounds like it's punching down more than it's funny, so I won't touch it.
Ah, see, yeah.
Do you know what
Keep
I
it in
mean?
the book and just keep going back to it.
100%. But I think there are some subjects out there that, unless you really hit the nail on the head, just
Um,
can't be asked for it. To be honest, I don't know. Like, what's the? Oh shit! Let me introduce you first. Sorry, crowd. Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Sit Down for Stand Up. I have with me Carly from, was it Rhonda? I know
on
Wales.
there. They're on there.
Is that the Welsh translation, or do we say it different in England?
I think, well, you say it wrong in England,
Yeah.
or you can say it right.
I mean, but I'm one of them people who like I just chuck vowels in a lot of words.
No problem.
I just don't do him justice, to be honest. It's Carly. How's it going, Carly? You all
I'm
right?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Thank you very much for having me. It's lovely to be here in my living room.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. But, so a bit about the pod. It's sort of it's your story. The less I
Mhm.
talk, the better. Because one, I hate my voice. Two, they probably hate my voice by now. And three, the less I talk, the less in trouble I get. So it's time for you to get into trouble. So Carly, it's all your story. Let me start it off with how and why did we get into comedy?
So I got into comedy because every year I would have a New Year's resolution,
Yeah.
and it would be something to enhance my life. It would have to be something fun. So stupid little things. For example, one year I learned I tried tried learning to juggle, can't juggle.
Yeah.
One year I tried learning to balloon model. I do a
What?
fantastic bunny.
The blue
Balloon models.
moon animals. Like,
Yeah, like
okay, you got that
that
bit down.
I that could be just taken out of context in so many ways. So I
Almost a
tried
snake.
it's yeah. Oh, to a bad snake, you know. Yeah. Um, so every year I try to do something different.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to get into stand up, but it was always something that I thought other people do. So I'd go to the Glee Club and I'd go to the comedy clubs and I'd think, oh, I wish I could do that. And then one day I saw a clip of Catherine Ryan,
Okay.
and it was in her very early days on YouTube, and
Mm.
she was just so fresh and so young and just going on and trying new stuff. And I thought, yeah, well, she was new at one point. She didn't
Yeah.
suddenly become a professional overnight. So I thought, well, why can't I do this actually? And I sort of grew up watching Jasper Carrot
Yeah.
and Hale and Pace and French and Saunders, and I loved all of that. And then I thought, do you know what? I'm going to have a go. This will be my New Year's resolution. So I came out to my family and my friends, and I've got a really supportive friendship group that when I explained what I wanted to do, and I said, I'm going to have to go all in. I'm going to have to go all in and see if this works. And they've just been nothing but supportive since. Considering they haven't really seen me for about a year and a half, they've been really, really supportive.
Because it is a lot of time and commitment. So when you oh, I've never sort of asked this question before actually. Oh, go Daniel. When you sort of set that moment, like right, I want to go into comedy. What was then the transition between doing that and then actually getting on the stage? Like, how did you go about
Oh,
finding a gig? how did you even think about writing a joke for the first time? And then we'll get on to how amazing or how bad the first time went.
Oh God. I'm sweating thinking about my first one already. So I didn't have a clue. But once I've decided something, I'm the kind of person, once I've decided something, that's it, I'll do it.
Mm.
Um, so I started Googling how do I get into stand up? And then I sort of fell into Facebook.
That's
Um,
the best place, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
and to be honest, Facebook is just like comedy LinkedIn.
Mm.
This has been such a good resource for me. And I ended up in the South Wales Comedy Forum.
Okay, cool.
Um, and I was directed, I kind of posted, oh, I'd like some help. Please, I'm new, be nice to me, kind of a post. And I was directed a couple of different ways. I had so much good advice from day one. The first was reach out to a gentleman called Drew Taylor.
Yep, Drew Taylor. Yep,
Yeah,
yeah, I know Drew.
absolutely brilliant. He was running the Ultra comedy
Yeah, Ultra
course.
Comedy Class Workshop, eight
Yeah.
weeks, was it 6 weeks of comedy, then perform in front of everyone.
Yeah, so I did that, but it didn't start until the summer.
Okay.
Um, and then somebody else posted, Richard Samuel posted on there about um, a lady called Sarah Bridgman,
Yep.
who has done essentially a comedy course as a podcast, rough as.
Okay.
So that is brilliant. So I listened to that as instructed, and the best thing that I did was listen to that podcast. I've listened to it a couple of times since. But it kind of guides you through and tells you what steps to do next. And it's only because of that podcast that I started applying for gigs and I got my first gig.
Okay. Cool.
So before Ultra started, I'd already had a handful of gigs in my pocket.
Okay. I think it is better to be on stage at least once before you do a comedy class, so you can sort of reference things a little bit easier.
Absolutely. It wasn't quite so foreign.
Mm. And when you started the comedy class, how many were with you at the beginning, and how many were with you at the end?
How about 500,000 people
Uh,
were sat in that room waiting to go on. No, realistically, I think about 70 odd
yeah.
turned up to the room. First of all, for the induction, I could be wrong. It seemed like a lot. And then when we started the actual course, because there were so many, it was split into two groups in one evening.
Okay.
Um, but it just, as the weeks went by, it just filtered down. And in the end show, I think we were looking at just over 20,
Okay.
20, 22.
A long ass show, isn't it?
Yeah, that was, but it was all set up, it's engineered to be a very friendly environment. So it's kind of a bit of a false illusion, really.
Mm. Okay. And how did the first one go?
My first gig,
Yeah.
oh God. So I thought I'm going to try and get a gig this over the bridge so people don't know me.
Right.
So I got
So how did the comedy class one go? Sorry, that's what I meant.
the comedy class gig. But that was all right, actually. I mean, it's only going to ever be friendly because people are there because they love you and they
Mm.
want you to do well. I could have stood up there, not told any jokes and said, please laugh, and everyone would have laughed and clapped.
Mm.
And then I would have got off and people would have told me how well I'd done.
Yeah, completely. Because when I always ask the question, how did your first gig go? Hoping that was your first gig, because they always say it went amazing, and then the second gig's always like, oh no, back to reality. Seven other people in in an open mic. Yeah,
Six of them are comedians.
exactly. Like we've all been there, we've all done the grind, and
Yeah.
sort of like after them, did you sort of like was that sort of like the affirmation that you wanted to do next?
So when I did the ultra course, I already had the bug.
Okay.
I think by the time I'd got there, I thought, this is lovely and this is
Yeah.
exciting. And I was still terrified because I'm terrified now every time I do a gig.
Everyone always is. Like
Yeah,
if you, I know I was saying on my last episode, if you don't get the butterflies, then do you know what I mean? Then you've become more disillusioned. Like you need to have the butterfly because you want to put on that good show. The second you don't have
absolutely,
that nerve,
absolutely. I love it. I love the fear beforehand. I love the anticipation when I'm driving to the venue. I love the feeling when I'm on, and I love the feeling when I'm off.
mm.
People go, "Are you all right?" It's like, no, I'm absolutely fine. But I'm loving that. That's absolutely fine. I want to keep that.
And it's so commendable to always want to keep on going. So I don't even ask. What type of comedian are you on stage? I know we're not a juggler or a balloon animalist.
Oh, well, not yet. No, that's more of a storyteller with
Awesome.
a nod to observational.
Okay, I think storytelling, and I'm completely biased on this because I am also a storyteller. I think it is the truest comedic talent out there.
Oh, really?
Honestly, I'm going to throw it
Fabulous.
out there. I love one-liners, they're my guilty pleasure. I love deadpan, but I think storytelling, observationist, because they're the ones who have to keep the audience captivated for so long.
Yes. Yeah, it's finding the funny when you're trying to tell a story,
Mm,
and it's not just I'm stood here having a chat. It's
mm,
trying to make sure that you've got some kinds of laugh turnover. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. But this I probably love one-liners more.
mm,
And I love comedians that are a bit more absurd and a bit more ridiculous.
mm.
I probably wouldn't come to see me, but
I think with the whole obscene comedians, and this is just my food for thought on this one, I am worried about the state of them in the future because we've started to diagnose ADHD. So I think like we're not going to have as many wacky comedians out there because they're going to be medicated, and I fear for them.
there, there's such a large amount of comedians that have something there that makes them a little bit extra special. I'm sure there's a sugar dusting of something for me, but at my age, there's just no point looking into it.
There's no well, Johnny Vegas has just been diagnosed with it, isn't it? And he's 54,
I'm not
53.
being funny. I could have diagnosed Johnny Vegas.
Fair point. So, observation storyteller, like, what type of stories? Is it about your life or?
Yeah, it's kind of like an offshoot of my life, so it's not really my life.
Uh,
Um, but it is about my family and my friends, my children, my pets.
mhm.
So I mean, it is, but then it's a twist. So every story starts as a base, and then it gets elaborated from to
From that.
protect identities.
Okay. Well, I always try and protect identities of my mates, but I've said their names so many times by accident. Just fix on it now. Like they can endure it. Okay, looking back, because you said to me off camera you started March last year, so
Mhm.
we're still fresh, but from what I've heard, you're absolutely killing it. We're already doing opens, we're doing closes. We've elevated quite quickly. There must
Yeah.
be a joke that you've said that you thought was funny at the time, and you look back and think, why did I think that was funny?
Oh, so what I think it was like my sixth gig, and I was still sort of testing the water,
Mhm.
and I was trying to think of different things. And one of my jokes was pretend. Oh God, it was talking about
Well,
how
bring the trauma out, bring it. This is counselling for you now.
it's such a dark time. So it was about dolphins, and we all love dolphins. And then we go see dolphins, and we swim with dolphins, and essentially we're stripping down into bikinis with dolphins, and dolphins are like a bit rapey. They're like the predator of the sea. And then during that, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I did an impression of a dolphin, and like I'm
I
never,
need to hear this. I need to hear this.
I can't do it. It's blocked it out.
No, no,
I'm
I'm
like,
not going to continue this podcast until I get, even if it's a F grade attempt, I need a little bit of a baby dolphin.
I think it was something like
It is an A grade. I literally thought I was talking to a dolphin then. That was, look, that, okay. Fuck the juggling, fuck the balloons. You are now a dolphin impersonator, okay?
I don't know what I said.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the subtitles will be up when it goes live, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, if I ran into a dolphin, I wouldn't be able to talk to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things that you just think, wow, I wish I hadn't done that. Talking about dolphins being rapey.
Oh yeah, they are the rapists of the sea. So what is your joke writing process? How do you think of material, and like how do you write it down word for word? Do you just do like the premise and then punchline? What's sort of your like theory on how you do it?
There's just so many different ways, to be honest, that I do it, and none of them are on purpose, really. So I've got a small group of friends from Bristol that I meet up with
Okay.
intermittently, and we do writing in his studio. There's four of us, and we get together and sort of knock heads, and that's really, really good to sort of
Mm.
find the funny when you're a bit stuck. And we've got a group that we sort of chat to each other and send voice notes. But then in regards to thinking of ideas, generally it'll be like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'll think of something, or I'll be driving into work. So I've got like endless voice notes and WhatsApps that I've sent to myself on my phone and then I come back to it later on.
Yeah, I think you need to write it down straight away because
Oh, if I
like,
don't, it's
5 seconds later, it's forgotten. Pull over the side of the road, put it in a bang out a voice note, and yeah, I completely agree. So when you've done a joke and you sort of pen to paper, you sort of figured out your formula. How
mm-hmm.
many times would you try a joke on stage before it's part of your arsenal or you bin it off?
Generally free.
Okay.
Generally 3 times. I give it a go, try it a different way, go back. Why wasn't that funny? Was it too TED talky? I
Mm,
try to steer away from anything that's a bit too TED talky. I don't want to
yeah.
do anything that's too serious.
Okay.
I want to be silly,
Okay.
basically. Life is too serious. I want to be stupid.
Okay. Oh, so I know it's completely irrelevant. Have you done a barking toad yet?
I haven't. I've applied, but I haven't been booked yet.
I'll have a word with them.
Tell them what
Uh,
a lovely person I
I
am.
will. I will. I've had them on it. They're a great set of lads. So, how I've been doing it for like, well, as I say, a while, 18 months.
Mm.
How sort of important is crowd work to your set, and how have you had to deal with the crowds?
So I've been quite lucky. I would say heckling very minimal.
Mhm.
I've been heckled a couple of times,
Yeah.
um, but I'm not been inundated with heckling. But I've got a spreadsheet that I've got all my jokes on, and it's
Yeah.
sort of this is the joke, this is the short version, this is how long it takes, and then this is where it'll link off to. But then another page of my spreadsheet is how I get comebacks.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So it'll be different things that I could come back to somebody if, I mean, it's a work in progress, and you never know what someone's going to say.
Mm.
But I'm trying to build that up so that it's in my head.
Okay. Well, we'll just do a quick. I will try a run through here because I was the boy. So okay, I'm in the crowd and I say, oh Carly, you shit, which we never ever have to deal with because no one would ever do that. Like, but how would you like deal with that?
I tell you to fuck off.
Okay, fair. Keep it
I
raw.
really know. I mean, it depends on what the story is. So, for example, I've got a story that is about public toilets and what you
Okay.
can find in public toilets. Um, and then I go on to the crowd and I say, if you don't know what glory holes, basically, if you don't know what this is, it's rah rah. And I say something that's wrong. And then one time a chap turned around and said, I don't know what you're looking at me for. And I said, thought I recognised you.
Uh,
Not your face. But he sort
Brilliant.
of started laughing and we just moved on.
Okay, fair. I mean, like my crowd work is absolutely awful,
It's a
to be
work in
honest.
progress, so hard.
Yeah, it is. But I always feel like with crowd work, the bar is a lot lower because you can sort of say stuff, and as it's there live, raw in the moment, it's not as as important as sort of the written stuff.
Exactly, isn't it? And it's all out of context, I think, when we're talking like this.
Mm,
But when you're in the situation and everyone's having a chuckle and the atmosphere is lifted,
mm.
then you can be a little bit more savage.
You can, but I think the worst, and I really suffer from this, and it's the hindsight creativity
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
on the
I'm sure
drive
we
home.
all.
Yeah, you also like drive back and be on the stage like, I know you called me a prick 2 hours ago, but this is what I should have said.
Find them on Facebook. So,
Right, yeah.
if I'd thought of this and it's like a week later, I'd have said this to you. Learn your
friend,
lesson.
friend request from Carly. So not doing that long. What's the not yourself because we'll get to you later, but what's the worst thing you've seen someone do on stage to date?
Oh, it's hard without giving specifics, and then those specifics
Mm,
can be quite obvious. Um, generally, and me being completely honest,
uh,
I haven't seen anything too bad
mm,
at all. I genuinely haven't. I have seen comedians sort of get in people's faces and growl, which it's completely unacceptable because all it does is it makes the audience member feel uncomfortable. And what you're trying to achieve, who is that benefiting? And I think it's not a good sign if somebody's doing that. But that generally, the circuits that we've got are really friendly circuits, and they want to make the audience feel welcomed and not uncomfortable.
Okay. And as you've gigged around a couple of places now, different locations, have
Yeah,
you
yeah.
noticed a difference in the crowds per where you
Oh,
are?
absolutely, absolutely. So sometimes you can go somewhere and they're a little bit more affluent.
Get
Maybe
crawler.
then it's not my my other daughter has come home, so my one daughter just sort of crawls across the floor to
A for
find
effort.
out.
A for effort, by the way.
Um, so that's my youngest.
Uh,
She's
crowd
very
work.
bright. What were we saying? I lost.
How the audiences are in different locations.
Yeah, so if you go somewhere more affluent, sometimes they're a little bit more guarded of whether or not they're going to laugh at your jokes and whether things are all right.
Hmm.
Whereas if you go somewhere that's a little bit more working class. So, for example, if I was in the Rhondda,
Yeah.
they're really up for it. When you go places like Swansea, Rhondda Valleys,
Yeah.
they're properly up for it. Bristol's a lovely place to go because they just want to have fun.
Mm.
Um, but I was in a what I've noticed is if it's a slightly more affluent place, one of my jokes as an example doesn't necessarily work in the same way.
Okay.
Um, so one of the jokes I've got is I'm talking about a family member and I'm trying to set the scene that she's an inhospitable person. Um, and I've got that I say she's the kind of person that goes to I'll say it. She's the kind of person that goes to Aldi's and takes a Waitrose shopping bag. So when she pulls
Yeah,
up in her
brilliant. Yeah.
driveway, her neighbours think she shops posh.
I love that. Yeah, cool.
But that doesn't land in certain places if it's a
Right.
little bit more affluent.
Mm.
So I swap it round. So I'll say she's the kind of woman that goes to Waitrose and takes an Aldi's carrier bag. So when she
Yeah.
pulls up in her driveway, her neighbours think she's humble.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's quite cool, actually. That is a joke that you can rotate it.
Around.
Rotate the context, but it still bangs the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I like that one. I like that. That's quite cool. I'm writing a joke at the moment, and I wrote it about 5 minutes ago, and I can't wait to try it on stage. It's So I was watching the Arsenal Man United game,
Yeah.
and they've got a new player, and they've created a new chant for him.
Right.
And I just like the thought that some guys thought of a chant for a player. So then they go around to all the other team, like all the other fans, and they hang out like hymn sheets to learn the lyrics. So do they meet up before in a church? It's like, right, skinhead, you're the baritones. Um, Racist, you're the. I had to start thinking of it, but I thought, yeah, it's weird
I
how
love
creativity sort
that.
of comes out of nowhere.
I
And
love that.
yeah,
One of my favourite things that you see on clips is when they're showing the crowds at football games and they're doing chants. Absolutely love that.
well, you said it's like the UK chants versus American chants, and like we are
Bruce.
so dark when it comes to our chants. Like I don't think America could like sort of hack it
No,
almost. Uh,
no,
I
no.
enjoyed it. So being quite new, how have we done any competitions yet?
Yeah, so I've done a couple. I when I was
Okay.
starting, and I've been quite lucky, really, for the stage that I'm on.
Hmm.
Um, so I did stand up for cider.
Oh, yeah, we love the cider.
Loved that. If it was only a gig and not a competition, I still would look back and have loved it.
Okay, yeah.
It was brilliant. It's run by Trish Caller, um, and it was me and a few other acts, um, and me and Joe Capper. I don't know if you've met Joe Capper or spoken to Joe Capper.
No,
He's
can't
a
say
banging
I have.
act. You've got to get him on.
Okay.
One of my favourite people down Plymouth way.
Right.
Him and myself got through to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool, good.
that's brilliant. Coming up in November. I did the Chichester Fringe.
Cool, yep.
And I've got through to the final. I got through to the finals on that. I did not get through past the finals, but I got into the finals. And I did Funny Women. This the part of the Glitter Project. I think it was funded by BBC this time.
Mhm.
And I came runner up on the Birmingham heat.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah,
That was a beautiful gig as well. Really, really lovely. Completely fallen in love with Birmingham as a circuit.
never gigs there, but it's basically what I'm going to do next year. I've said it. I'm going to buy a van, just put a mattress in the back of it, and nomad it for 6 months.
Just go for it.
That's sort of the plan. I mean, competitions. I love competitions, and I'm going to get very. You've got to not. You haven't got to agree or disagree or say your opinion. I think they can be quite box ticky when it comes to the winners. So I think getting to the finalists is an accolade truly on its own.
I think I'm not too sure about that aspect because the ones that I've been to, it was audience vote.
Okay,
So,
cool.
they're either going to like me or they're not going to like me. Not everyone's going to like me. Um, they're wrong.
Fair.
Or, people will like me and they're going to vote for me. But when you've got that, I can't really disagree or not. You
That's
know,
fine.
the people
Would
who went
Would you
through.
say your comedy is quite universal then?
Uh,
So if you went to Australia, it'd be the same as if you went to America.
I
If you
think
went up to
so.
Scotland, it's like
Yeah, I think so. I think he had. I think probably I could transfer it. Hopefully, I'll find
yeah.
out in a few years and I can have a go.
Okay. So what do you sort of okay? I like asking this question also. What do you want out of comedy, and what does comedy get out of having you in it?
Oh, that's a deep
There you go. I
question.
know. I like that one.
That's a
That's a
deep
thinker. That's
question.
a thinker, isn't it?
So I I thought when I first started, if I can get into this and just occasionally gig and do well, fine, great. But I have got the bug, unfortunately. All I can hope
How
is
many gigs have you done in 18 months?
that 140.
That is ridiculously low. All
Yeah.
right. Love
Said when
that.
I decide something,
Love that. Everyone's got to be addicted to something, haven't they?
yeah. If I do something, I go all in.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So, what's comedy getting out of you?
so hopefully I'm bringing to the although it's a very welcoming place. I've not found anything that's unwelcoming, to be honest. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, I would say 92% of other comedians are fantastic.
Do you know what? I love everyone I meet.
Mm.
And the ones that I don't, they're not around for long.
No, it's got a good way of filtering out the arseholes. Because, I mean, being funny on stage is a solid 60-70% of the job. About 20% is networking, and you've also got to be a nice person. You got to help other people, and the favor does usually get returned.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite new, so when it comes to helping people, haven't really got much to offer, but I'm happy to offer what I've got.
Okay.
Um, and the favors seem to come around really well. It's like a neighborhood. Do you know what I mean? If you're on a neighborhood in a street, and you're just being neighborly, one neighbor comes over and they mow your lawn. The
Mm.
other neighbor will watch your house when you're away, and another neighbor will put your rubbish out if you're not able to do it one night.
Mm.
You all look after something else, and you can all bring something to the table. And it's very much like that in the South Wales circuit, to be honest.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, I got a question. When you first sort of, was thinking about getting into comedy,
Mm.
like you would have watched, like the pros and stuff, was you shocked at how good the open circuit level is?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. There is in every circuit, there's a pocket of really, really good talent.
Mm.
Really, really good talent. And new comedians that are coming up. There's some brilliant ones, but yeah, the quality is outstanding.
Mm. It's
Outstanding.
truly shocking, isn't it? Like how
Humbling.
good everyone is. Yeah,
Very humbling.
yeah. I mean, I've like I said, I'm doing paid work now. I'm happy with it. I went to a gong show 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago just to watch it because one of my mates was doing it, and I was just watching them, and I was like, "You're better than me. You're better than me. You're
Oh,
better than me." Like I'm humble enough to admit it. They were better than me, but they've just I don't know. Is there an element of luck that just lifts one up instead of the other? Right.
it's a hard one. I think there's for me there's three different factors that we've got to take into account. So yes, there is an element of luck. Are we going to be lucky? I don't know. There's going to be talent.
Mm.
You can have all the luck you want and you can work as hard as you want, but if you haven't got any talent, you ain't going nowhere. Um, and you've got to be able to put the graft in.
Yeah,
You know, if
100.
you've got talent and you're not willing to work, well, you're not going anywhere either. So there's all the stars have to align.
Mm. I would completely agree. Like, was it? Yeah, was it? Persistence is better than any talent you could ever have. So,
Yeah.
is comedy, being funny, being a comedian, is that nature or nurture?
Well, I think like I'm very insecure with the need to please. So I
Every
think that holds
comedian
me
I've
back.
met is an introvert, deep
Oh,
down.
completely.
So,
I wasn't the funny person in the group. I would, of my friends, I was the humorous person in the group,
yeah.
and I would probably be one of the ones that sort of sat and listened. Um, and I still probably am, even when I go out with comedians and things, I'll be the one that kind of sits. But that's fine because I'm taking it all in, taking it all in.
Yeah, I think that is the best way. I mean, one thing I mentioned it a couple of times before, on the open mic circuit, one thing I always detested a little bit was every other comedian you talk to is trying to be funny, and it's sort of like, look, I know you're funny now. I want to learn about the brains behind the funny. You know what
Mm.
I mean? I want to know about your day. I want to know more about your life, and I know you'll be funny because I'm going to watch you on stage in 5 minutes. Like, not crack a joke every 5 seconds. What's your ethos on can you joke about anything?
I think you can joke about anything. I think you absolutely can joke about anything. Can I joke about anything? Nope. No, I can't. But for example, Freddie Quinn touches on some jokes and some topics that I couldn't pull off, or not yet. If it's approached in the right way, you can absolutely joke about everything. And I
Completely
don't
agree.
think things should be off the table, to be honest.
100% applaud that. I do think you need to take into consideration the persona you're letting off on stage and are you doing the topic justice?
That's it.
I
It
say, like, I've
is,
got Muslim mates, black mates, all that. If I think of a good black joke, I'll send it over to them because I know they'll kill it 10 times better than what I could. And so, like, that's talking about the community again.
then you exactly you just you're sharing and you're sort of helping each other. That's the neighborhood vibe, isn't it? It is. But I mean, one day I'll be able to do certain things, but no, I don't think anything at all should be off the table. I really, really don't.
Okay. And what would you sort of like out of comedy?
I'd like to get better. I'd
Okay.
like to get better. So, for example, I know that when I go to a gig and I'm looking at the lineup, I'm not going to be the best person on that lineup. And I don't want to be because the day that I'm the best, one day, if I'm the best person on that lineup, how am I going to carry on learning? Because
But
that would
then,
mean this is as good as I'm going to get.
what is it? If you're the best in the room, you're then all of a sudden in the wrong room.
Yes, exactly. What's going to drive me forward? You know, the strongest trees grow with the tallest trees. You know, don't it? It's this. If I want to grow, then I need to surround myself with the right people.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's just time and hack in the graft, and then actually again, I challenge that it is, but also is learning from your mistakes quickly.
Oh, I make lots of
Yeah.
mistakes.
I,
Lots of mistakes.
yeah, I got what one I always find being hard being a storyteller, observational comic, and I never put any of my stuff online. How do you sort
Oh,
of find the social media side of it?
oh, it's an absolute minefield. I'm crap. I'm absolutely crap at social media. I do it. I kind of like fumble my way through and chuck things on. But I guess my way there. If there's something that I've posted, that's lucky that's actually there. At like 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm messaging my friends. For example, I'm friendly with Andrew Willard, and she's brilliant. And I'll be like messaging and going, "Why have I posted something on Instagram and it's on Facebook, but it's not on Instagram?" And she's
Brilliant.
like trying to like help me. What have I done with this?
Mm.
But no, I would rather I want to do really, really well in comedy, but be anonymous. How that's just not going to work. So I'm not. It's not something
Yeah.
I can do. And if I want to get booked, I need to be seen to be booked. So I
Mm.
have to do the social media side of things.
Yeah, I mean that's the unfortunate thing that a lot of promoters nowadays they'll want to see your following more than your act, which I think is which is a bit like, upsetting. But somebody could be first time, never done stand up, but they've got a million followers. Will get booked over me or you, who's got, I mean, like a couple thousand followers, but has like killed it for X amount of time.
And unfortunately, I mean, you've got to be careful though, because it's not fair on them
Mm,
either. So if they get put in a lineup of, for example, a paid gig,
yeah.
and they're surrounded by very high quality acts, then they're going to stand out. And is that fair to put them in that position when they're not trained up and qualified to do that?
I agree and I disagree. I think if they've got the disillusion of thinking they can do it, then they need to learn the hard way.
Yeah,
Almost. Do you know what I mean? I go. Do you know what I mean? So I go gym. I'm not going to enter a weightlifting competition just because I go gym. Like you've got to know your lane
it's a good point.
until that. Okay, so let's say hypothetically you was offered, say, tomorrow an hour special. Would you take it, or
No.
would you? You wouldn't know. You'd sort of say, right, come
Oh,
back to me in like
no.
a year or something.
So I would love a show. I would absolutely love a show. And I've got an idea in my head of how I'd want a show to go. I don't have the material to execute a show. So people have said to me, like, oh, you're going to do Edinburgh this year. It's like, no,
Mm.
no, I'm absolutely not. If I'm going somewhere and I want to be seen, I'm not taking a subpar product to be seen. If I'm taking something, it needs to be banging from beginning to end. Um, and it can't be taken up as a half-hearted, self-indulgent act. It's got to be, if I'm taking something up there and you see, oh, Carly's doing Edinburgh, you'll know I think that's banging.
I agree. Fringes, I'm two ways about them. One, I think they can be good for exposure, but I think it's got to be more for the fun because talent agents, they do not go to Fringe anymore, and they do not go to comedy clubs anymore because everything is online. And I
Mm.
think that is truly heartbreaking. And I think Fringe can end up costing people a lot of money.
Yeah, it's an expensive venture for me to take something up that's just not worthwhile.
Yeah, unless you know you're going to absolutely kill it, sell it out every time, and then you can make a penny.
Yeah, I,
But
I need to be assured, like absolutely positive this is going to work. I've got less than 2 years experience.
mm,
And then somebody, for example, who's putting a show together in South Wales, they've got almost 20. That is going to be banging. I haven't even seen it,
mm,
and I know it's going to be absolutely rocking.
yeah, if they don't have the following, Fringe can still be, you know, it can be risky.
Yeah.
And I think I'd only go up there if I knew I could like do a sellout pretty much straight away. But then that's where the hesitance in me.
Yeah. You've just got to do yourself justice, I think, if you're going to
Mm,
spend all that money
mm,
to go up there, and it is an investment, so it can make or break you. It
yeah,
needs to be something that you're taking there is going to support you and carry you forward if you get seen.
100%. Okay, I always like asking this question nearer the end. What has been? It's a two-parter. One bit, I don't really care about. I ask it. It's the bit. The second bit's the bit I love the most. What's been your favourite moment on stage, and what time did we bomb the hardest
Oh my God. Well, we'd have to narrow it down on the bombing.
this week?
I haven't been bombed for a few weeks or so. So my favourite, I mean, there's been, to be honest, I come off and I love so many.
Mm.
Um, but probably my most recent favourite one, Ha Ha Haggis. That's
Oh,
a Bristol gig. That's run by Lindsay Smart. And that was a beautiful gig. That was absolutely lovely. Really, really, really nice. It's sort of a Celtic format. So you get Celtic acts in, and
nice.
then they have a one-off Englishman or English lady or
Yeah.
person. And that room was so warm and up for it. And that was I did well. I
In
did
other
well.
words, whatever you say is going to hit.
I
Like
felt high.
not just in the room, but when you're
Uh,
in that zone.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I came away thinking like I just want to do it again.
yeah.
Um, bombing. So I'm news. There's obviously going to be bombing.
Oh,
Is
if
it
any comedian says they haven't bombed, they're a liar.
the lies?
I've spoken to some of the greatest on this podcast. Every one of them said they bombed.
Oh, it's inevitable. It's going to happen, but it's how you deal with it.
Yes.
Um, and what am I gonna learn from it? Why did I bomb, and how can I avoid that in future?
Also,
You,
sometimes it's inevitable. Sometimes I know I'm not blaming the crowd. Sometimes it is just a shit crowd. The mood's not right. little things like, do you know what I mean, like the lights can be way too bright. Do you know what I mean? There's so many factors that can impact a night.
I think absolutely. I think absolutely. There's so many different factors, but if I'm going in and I'm doing my job, I should still be able to turn them around. Do you know, I should be able to go in and win them over. So I had a gig recently, and it wasn't really a bomb. It wasn't my hottest moment either. And when I came off, I felt like I should have done better. And then Ava Bindman went on after me and absolutely lit the room up.
Oh dear. Oh.
Absolutely lit the room up. And there's nothing more humbling than thinking, well, it didn't go well, but I think I did the best I could. And then someone else coming on and absolutely blowing up. And you know what she did? She absolutely lit the whole room were in the palm of her hands. And if she can do that, well, that's where the bar is set, isn't it? That's where you need to aim for.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've done some where it's like every single person has bombs, and the closers absolutely smashed it. And you do look back, and they are the times, yeah, you take a step back, take stock,
Yeah.
and it's there's no such thing as a bomb, truly, as long as you learn from it. Then yeah. So, what sort of lessons have you learned in the 18 months?
In the 18 months, so I was very, very nervous because when I first started, I hadn't even held a microphone.
Mhm.
Um, so it was I had to approach this by what do I need to learn first, and it was get over my confidence issues. So
Yeah.
that was I learned by repetition. So I felt right. I need to if I'm going to do this, I need to go out and gig as much as I can and get over this because I will get over it. I've just got to tackle it as much as I can. Um, how to discuss with the audience so that when I go on, I'm trying to make us all friends.
Mm.
Whereas I was before, when I first started, I was trying to go on there and stand and hope that they laughed at me. Whereas now I'm trying to go on and we're all friends together and we're going to have a good time. That's probably been the biggest hurdle is having the confidence to think I'm going to own this
Yeah.
and you are going to laugh with me.
Do you sort of have like a pre-stage ritual?
Uh, so little things like I try not to drink anything other than water.
Okay.
Because if I start if I just have a beer and it loosened me up,
Mm.
then I'd be thinking, oh no, I'm rigid now on the next gig. So I try to just have water. I try to still move about so that I'm not just sat down
Mm.
and then I'm suddenly on to jump because my act is reasonably not theatrical, but I'm moving around a decent amount, and I couldn't go from sitting to just doing that. So I need to sort of bounce around a little bit beforehand. I have been known to like do jumps and things, so I don't completely like an idiot, but I'm not far off. Um, any other rituals? And when I right, so I had a bit of an issue of my my volume with the mic, and I was talking to one of my friends on a car share, and he said about you can try singing in the car
Okay,
when
cool.
you're there. And I thought, well, I do that anyway to Taylor Swift on the way everywhere. So now I turn the volume right up, and I know really go for it, and I think it makes a difference.
Okay, that's a cool one. One I always do, and but as you get cars, it's a bit irrelevant. When I'm gigging in London and I'm on the train, I'll never take headphones with me, and I say to
Um,
myself, I've got to talk to at least like three strangers on the way to the gig
okay, all
and
right.
try and make them laugh.
How could I do that in my car? Traffic lights, maybe.
Pull the windows,
Hello.
not.
You should talk to me for a second.
But
That's a good one.
even
That's a yeah.
even like on the day of a gig, like go Asda or something and talk to the cashier and try and make them laugh. Just try and do a bit of crowd work with everyone, and
Try
that
and
sort of
break through.
yeah, that sort of like pumps me up for the day.
Uh,
Oh, look, I can make strangers laugh. Right.
but you made me laugh.
But then,
You made me laugh.
yeah, but it's my show. You've got to laugh. Otherwise, I'll edit in
Well, I've been ticking boxes.
laughing soundtrack. Right. Okay, I'll end it with this one, Carly. What advice would you give to somebody? Okay, what advice would you give to Carly 19 months ago, who's never done comedy but is thinking about doing it? And you can't say just do it.
Oh, okay, right, okay. I would. not be so precious about if I didn't do well or not in the beginning, because I had gigs where, and I'm not even ashamed to say it, but I drove home crying.
Mm.
There was one time I had to pull over and calm down. And I would just be like so annoyed at myself if I hadn't worked. And I reckon I'd need two hands to count how many times I did that. And I would go back and first of all, I'd give myself a kicking.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I'd be like, you just need to pull it together because everyone bombs and everyone's learning. And I'm not going to be like a headliner
Mm.
in my first 30 gigs.
Of course.
So I would go back and tell myself not to be so precious and to loosen up.
Mm. And also, no one, with the greatest respect, no one will remember you bombing.
Oh no, they don't remember me. There's a couple of people that probably do remember me bombing, but we don't talk to them.
Yeah, we fizzled them out. They're locked in the memory box somewhere, aren't they?
They just come back to me at like 3 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep. Remember when you bombed?
To be fair, I messaged you last night at 4 o'clock in the morning. Be like, shit, I've got the dates mixed up. So you're a very nocturnal person as well, you know.
And yeah, so it's a bit of a running joke. I don't sleep much. I sleep probably about 4 to 5 hours,
Mm,
and I can't sort of stop.
yeah,
I have to be on the go all the time.
yeah. Especially like when you think of a joke as well, like you put yourself into like
Um,
active mode.
yeah, yeah. When I start WhatsApping myself and it's 3 a.m. Yeah,
I'll finish one with this then. Since your kids were in the background, what do your kids think of you doing comedy?
they love it. They
Yeah,
love it. Yeah, yeah. They don't let any of their friends follow me.
brilliant.
They're not allowed. But they do love it. They're proud of me, which is really nice.
Oh yeah.
And there's a couple of jokes that involve them, but they've had it run past them that they're happy with it. But no, they're good sports and they're very, very supportive, which I can't ask for more than that because they don't see me no more.
Hmm. Have they like tried to like give you some jokes?
Yeah, so there's a couple of jokes in my set
Mm,
that they've helped with.
mm,
And it's so one of my jokes is about that we've got an open dialogue in the house because I want them to be strong, independent women. And I don't want them to be ashamed to talk about things like sex,
yeah.
or any topic. I'd want them to be able to come to me. So there's a joke in my set which is surrounds around that, and they helped me work that out.
Hmm. It's nice having that network as a family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're good kids. They're really good kids. Yeah.
Yeah, mine is like I ring up my mum and like I talk to her once a day, you know, still a mama's boy no matter how old I get. But she just doesn't get comedy.
Oh,
So I've sort of like abandoned hope on that one. But yeah, that's for my therapist. Carly, it's been absolutely amazing having you on.
oh, it's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
And then yeah, if I'm ever gigging in Wales or if you're ever in London, let me know. And I will talk to Barking Toad as well. I'll have a go at Matt for over there, yeah?
I'll send you a list. Put the check in the post.
Yeah, yeah. Get the hit list to attack for. Yeah, brilliant, Carly. You've been amazing. Thank you ever so much, and cheers for watching, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.